All right. I'm sure you all have heard the news by now about the young brother named Javion Magee, 21 years old, from Aurora, Illinois. Just got a CDL license, truck driving. Went down to Henderson, North Carolina, and they found him hanging not too far from his truck. So it's a breaking story, and it's a lot going on with that. They say he was at a Walmart where he bought the rope that he hung himself with. Now we know Walmart has all types of cameras throughout the store, but for some reason Walmart is not releasing the video. If he was actually buying a rope, why not release the video? And even if he was buying a rope, you can buy a rope. That don't mean you're about to go and hang yourself. And so, stuff just isn't adding up. Somebody needs to subpoena that tape from Walmart. I truly believe, and and then also, why wouldn't he just hang himself in Aurora? Why is he going out of town to hang himself? Because this is not the first story we've heard where a black person is found hanging from a tree, and it's always okay. They did it to themselves. Uh, Javion didn't hang himself. I don't think he did. I think there's a cover up. The Henderson Police Department will not let his family see the body because I think they let them see the body. They'll see that there's probably some type of struggle going on. You may see some scratches on Javion, which will indicate that he did not take a rope and hang himself. Someone else did it. And they've already got Lee Merritt down there as one of the attorneys representing them to try and get some justice served and get the police department to open up. So yeah, this is the latest lynching of a black person, and it's just the system that we're in, and what's going on out here. 21 years old, so now his family is just all in disarray. Police aren't cooperating. For why not let his family see the body? They can identify the body. That's their son, mom, and dad. What's really going on here. And so, and yes, people are still being lynched. Black people are in 2024. So it's almost like we're in the 1950s again, 1960s and on earlier. But no, uh, it has never stopped. It's actually more lynchings going on than people may actually know. So this is crazy. And so how you not let me see my own child? They passed away now. Why can't I see the body? Why is the body still in custody? Normally, someone passes away, you release the body into the custody of relatives. So, and this is their son, 21 years old. Why can't they see their son? And so there's a lot more news on it. I'm gonna share my screen and let you see the news story on this. Give me 1 second. Let me see here. Get the sharing up and going. There we go. Got it. Now you can see the screen here. I want you all to check out this video. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use.
After this man was found dead in Vance County at the base of a tree with a rope around his neck. His name is Javion Magee. Many of you reached out to us after a TikTok video went viral. WR's Destiny Patterson has been digging into his death and joins us live from Vance County. Destiny, you spoke to the sheriff today. What do we know about this crime, about this case from law enforcement?
Just in the last 20 minutes, we've gotten a search warrant that gives us more insight into this investigation. A representative for the family says that Javion Magee was a truck driver, and I'm told that trucks often park here while making deliveries at a nearby Walmart distribution center. The sheriff said that Magee was found outside of a fenced area of this business, and they say that they found him at the base of a tree with a rope around his neck. 21-year-old Javion Magee stopped through Vance County as part of his job as a truck driver. It's a long way from where he lived in Illinois. Deputies found him dead Wednesday under a tree with a rope wrapped around his neck.
We have a lot of questions.
Not enough answer. Candace Matthews identifies herself as a spokesperson for his family. She says law enforcement initially told them McGee died by suicide. This young man has not had no indication of no type of suicidal ideation. He doesn't have a history of mental illness.
At no point in time that we have said this was a suicide.
Vance County Sheriff Curtis Brame says they're still investigating McGee's death. McGee's family does not believe he took his own life. But how can we rule out a hate crime at this point?
Look at me, who I am. If I thought that anyone, regardless of their race, was lynched in Vance County, I would have it all over national news. When we got there, he was sitting with his back up against the tree on the ground. It's something common we would say, and we would call a jail suicide or homicide, where a person does not have enough height to hang or dangle.
McGee's family says they were told surveillance footage showed McGee buying a rope from Walmart. The sheriff says they're still looking into that. He says the medical examiner's office will officially determine the cause of death. Mom and stepdad and dad have not even seen his body yet. Sheriff Brame says the family could not view the body in person due to distance. We want to see everything. We want full transparency. As I mentioned before, we do now have a search warrant. We're going to continue to dig through that and bring you those details as we get them. Even at this hour, the family stories and law enforcement stories don't quite align. Now, McGee's family has hired a national civil rights attorney, and an autopsy has been ordered and will be performed. Destiny Patterson, WRL News, Vance County.
Hey, excuse me, what is one piece of financial advice you'd give to your younger self?
And so they said they can't see it due to distance. I'm like, what does that mean? What do you mean you can't see your son's body due to distance? It's not making any sense. So good they're getting the autopsy together. Walmart needs to release that video. They say they're still investigating. I'm hoping they don't delete nothing or it comes up missing. You know, maybe it was some people who recognized him on that Wednesday. So yeah, last Wednesday, that can kind of say, okay, we did see him in the store if he really was in Walmart, you know, in this video. There's just a lot going on here, and we have to really understand. I've also heard about this Henderson, North Carolina place. They call it a sundown town. If anyone's not actually familiar with what that is, here's the definition of it. They are considered towns that practice or still practice a form of racial segregation by keeping people who are not white away. They discriminate, they intimidate, they do not want you there. And they say they were really around before the 1950s, but obviously they're still here. Even my barber told a story one time about, he said it happened some years ago. He was in one of these small towns and he opened the diner to go in. Said all the white people in the diner turned to him, and him being a black man, he said he felt the energy that looked like you're in the wrong place. And he immediately closed the door and left. So these towns are still existing. And they have them here in Illinois, where I'm at, down in southern Illinois, and obviously this Henderson, North Carolina, in this, you know, which is part of Vance County, definitely got the sundown vibes. So he's a 21-year-old black man away from home, just truck driving, dropping off a load, a delivery, and this happens. And so I think the autopsy is going to reveal that he did not commit suicide. You know, black folks are just not going out of town and hanging ourselves. That's just the story they love to paint. This is the latest lynching of a black person. I've seen stories of others over the years. It's always the same. The police department is always saying the same thing. Oh, this black person lynched themselves. It's only been black men that have been found as hanging from trees over the past couple of years. But whatever the story is always, oh, they killed themselves. So I'm like, no. The police department and other officials, they're working hand in hand. Hopefully they're not working hand in hand with that Walmart down there. One lady I saw on another YouTube channel even suggested black people boycott Walmart until they release that video. Just do your grocery shopping somewhere else until Walmart releases that footage. We want to see Javion buying a rope. And even if he was buying a rope again, that doesn't mean he hung himself. Somebody else took his rope and hung him. People buy ropes to dock their boat, So, I'm not buying what they're doing. We've seen this a few times with black people before. In the police department there, they're always trying to cover something up and say that, oh, that person hung themselves. I'm like, no, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. So here's more of it. A press release. Family spokesperson said the authorities or police said they couldn't view the body. And a family member posted a video on social media about this, which actually helped the story get out. Because this wasn't being reported. The media didn't report it, social media did. And they keep stuff under wraps on purpose. And they said, as of today, the police haven't shown us anything that this young man with no history of mental illness took his own life, said Daniels. How can the police expect us to take their word for it when they won't even let the family view the body? Exactly. Harry Daniels is one of the attorneys along with Lee Merritt. And so they're out there investigating McGee's death. And they got their other attorney down there in North Carolina, Jason Keith. So hopefully they can get to the bottom of it. In this system that we're in the racism in this country, this again calls us to have this uncomfortable conversation again that people don't want to have. There is an issue between white people and black people in this country, and it never went anywhere. You go all the way back to 1492 when Christopher sailed over here, Mr. Columbus. It's been ongoing since then, the system that we're in. Now, I'm not speaking in absolutes. I never do that. But we do have white people still that cannot stand black people only because they're black. Nothing been done to them, no harm, no foul, no stealing, none of their relatives being hurt by black people. The fact that you're black, these particular white people who I identify as white supremacists, they're the ones that have the issue with people that look like me. So the issue is not white people, it's the white supremacists. But unfortunately, white supremacists can hide as white people. And so you can't necessarily tell them apart unless they just get extreme with it and say the N-word or whatever the case may be. And, it would be great if other white people, some may be afraid to call out these white supremacists when they're around them, because they'll get real comfortable and really talk about black people and other non-white people when they're just around other white people. But in the other white people around them who aren't white supremacists, may not call them out, and they get real comfortable around other white people because they just assume that the white people they're around, may feel the same way about black people, and that's not true. So that's the main problem, and the reason we have these lynchings is because of white supremacists, not white people. And I'll go even further to say non-white people can be white supremacists. Take Clarence Thomas, for example, on the Supreme Court. You do have sellouts, Uncle Toms, as they call them in the black community, that, do the job of white supremacy as well. And so that's other things we have to take into consideration, and how white supremacy is able to hide. Sometimes it hides behind black people. Racism can hide behind people who look like me, who it's actually hurting. They'll use people that look like me and put them in high places. And so I'm hoping that sheriff that was talking, Curtis Brain, his name is, that he's not doing the job of some handlers, whoever he's working with, as he's investigating the issue. And then I also wanted to, racism hasn't gone anywhere. Here's an old quote from Will Smith, 2016. Racism is not getting worse, it's getting filmed. And so, it's never went anywhere. We're just seeing it exposed more, like with this story. And then, the social media post that Javion's family member put up, which got this to, really get out there in the media like that and bringing attention to it. They were going to keep it, I think, swept under the rug. They found the body hanging, everybody in the city working together, and now this man is, not getting noticed. His death is going unheard. So Will is right about that. And then I also want to show, since they saying Javion committed suicide, here's Harvard University's School of Public Health, and they have a study. Now this is from 2004, but it says the ways that people normally commit suicide. So 52% is mostly by firearm or gun, followed by the hanging. It's a distant number two at 23%. Suffocation, they call it, mostly hanging. That's how other people take their own lives away. Then poisoning, overdose, that's at 18%. People jumping to their death, that's at 2%. Cutting themselves to death, tied at 2%. And other ways at 4%. And then it says most non-fatal self-harm treated in the emergency department results from poisoning overdose. That's at 64%, followed by cutting themselves, 19%. Less than 1% of unfatal attempts are with a gun. So there you go. You have statistics there from a Harvard School of Public Health. So yes, people do commit suicide by hanging, but that's a distant 23%. But again, like I said, these stories we've heard about Black people found hanging from trees, always out of town. They're never in the city they live in. Not buying it, I don't think. Javion took his own life, didn't hang himself. Someone down there in Henderson, North Carolina, hung that man. Mark my words. I can't wait to see what comes back from this autopsy. It's always something. First, Javion Magee down in Springfield, Illinois. Now, Javion Magee from Aurora, Illinois, down in Henderson, North Carolina. So, this is crazy. And I believe Henderson is probably a sundown town. It's one of many. So we really have to go back to having this conversation about race that people want to sweep under the rug for whatever reason. White and Black people really need to get comfortable. You have white and Black people who are friends. Are you all having that discussion about race, or does it make you too uncomfortable? You can't really get into, how deep your friendship is if you don't talk about the elephant in the room. It's just, something has to give. And don't be afraid. As long as for Black people, your white friend isn't a white supremacist that you know of, don't be afraid to have that conversation with your white friend, or, you're in a relationship with a white person, Black people, your white boyfriend, your white girlfriend. Have that conversation. Because obviously it's still there. And, it's just because of the same thing of things like this happening with the lynching, no type of criminal offense committed. This is the offense right here, this right here. This criminalizes you. And so that's what happens to Javion there. And you heard the spokesperson representative from the new Black Panther Party for the family. They're not getting the answers. How would you feel? That's anybody out here. If your Black son or Black daughter was found hanging from a tree and you can't get, what you need, authorities not cooperating, this is ridiculous. And so, yeah, I definitely had to, talk about this story and point some things out. All of this stuff is happening too much, and there's more lynchings that go on than actually get reported. I heard a lady by the name of Michiette. She's on YouTube, and I've watched her channel before, and she talks about other hangings of Black people. This is the one that got reported, but there's other things that go on out here that not being reported. Other Black people, that are found hanging from trees through acts of racism, and they're very quiet about it. And I don't know why that is. Well, I guess I do know why it is, but how do you expect to really get anywhere and get some type of justice when you got police departments and other people in the city covering it up just because it makes the city look bad? There's certain individuals in these sundown towns that are catching black people alone and then hanging us from trees. And it's sad that there's certain places, certain cities in the United States that black people can't go to because of this very reason. Certain time before the sun goes down, okay, you need to be out of the area. It's not fair, it's not right. And it continues to happen. Because, any other murder, they let the family identify the body. They said they couldn't see his body due to distance. It said in the video I just played. What is that? Tell me I can't see my dead son or my dead daughter's body because of distance. And I'm their father, I'm their mother. Well, what is that? It makes no sense. And, this system is corrupt, as everybody listening to me knows. It's corrupt, it's racist, it's selfish, it's greedy, And this here is just a small example of what's happening on the bigger scale in the world. Stuff just continues to happen. So much negativity, and especially in the news. I remember watching CNN from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Only positive thing on CNN, this was 2 years ago. The only thing positive was when they would do a 30-second preview of places to visit. It's just a segment they would do, giving you options to go if you want to go on vacation. Everything else after the 30-second preview of a place to actually pick for travel was negative. Negative, negative, negative. 4 hours of negativity. And so now, and then all of it's a snowball effect. And now you get this with Javion here from Aurora, Illinois. Found hanging. Only 21 years old, just got a CDL license. Whole life ahead of him. Gone. So how do you explain that? And who's it going to happen to next? Because it is going to happen again. I'm making note of these sundown towns when I hear these stories of black people hanging ourselves. I make notes to make sure to never travel to those places. And I don't blame any other black truck driver who no longer wants to deliver in Henderson, North Carolina. I don't, why would you? Especially if you know about this story. Am I going to come back? I'll be afraid too. I don't know the population of Henderson. Should check that out. Let me see. For Henderson, North Carolina. Just want to do a little profile of the actual city. I just want to see the racial makeup, the demographics. Let me check that out. Henderson. It already comes up to sundown town. But I want to see what's the racial demographics. Let me see. Let me reword it. Race. No, that's North Carolina. No, we just want Henderson. Racial demographic. Let's go. So it's mainly black. 63.15% black, 27% white, and then you see the rest, 2 or more races, 4.87, other race, 3.96. So it's majority black city. But I don't know how the racial demographics are for that county that it's in, Vance County. And so blacks are the majority, but it's definitely some foul play going on here. And how he was lynched, who lynched him. There's the racial demographic of it. I don't know how this county is, this Vance County, where it happened at. Yeah, there it is on there, the Vance County Sheriff. So that's the county Henderson, North Carolina is in. So yeah, we got a little bit of the racial demographic. I want to check that out. just to see. So majority black, but yeah, this is So now and hopefully, somebody saw him in the Walmart. That Walmart video I think is going to be critical. But why is Walmart not releasing the video? Are they under court order not to do it? Like I'm saying, we got the police possibly working with Walmart as well. We got to watch out for these things. I'm thinking, let's see, Walmart not releasing the video. I just want to see if I can get something on that. Let's see, not releasing video of Javion. Let's see what comes up. Okay, so they're saying they got a video. Okay, so maybe they did release it. Okay, and this is just 18 minutes ago. So we're getting a real-time update. Let's see here. And again, just because he bought a rope does not mean that he hung himself. He's a truck driver. Anybody out there, all my truck drivers who are listening, you may have had to buy a rope for whatever reason. You have to secure your load, whatever. So we definitely not just say, okay, he bought a rope. I mean, people buy knives, people buy guns. That means I'm about to take my own life. So we're not going with that one. So let's see. I'll play this video. Fair use YouTube again. So they do this countdown or this advertisement. We're getting a real-time update. Skip ad.
New details in the death investigation surrounding Javion Magee, a man found dead with a rope around his neck in Vance County.
Investigative reporter Mary Smith is here with us. You've been following this all along. You've got brand new video just released. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, that's right. We got this video within the last 45 minutes. It's dated September 10th, the day before Javion Magee was found dead, and appears to show him purchasing rope at Walmart. Here's the surveillance video from the Walmart Supercenter in Henderson. The video appears to show him at the self-checkout purchasing the blue rope. It shows he paid $4.20 for it. You can then see him walk out of the store, and he walks across the parking lot to his truck and drives off. The sheriff's office says his body was found in an area off Vanco Mill Road. They say deputies found him near the base of a tree in a seated position with a rope wrapped around his neck, and the other end attached to a tree. Magee's family believes it was a hate crime, and attorneys representing the family say he has no history of mental illness. The sheriff's office is calling this a death investigation. His family is now pleading for answers about what happened to him. We have reached out to Vance County Sheriff Rain for more information and updates on this case. We are waiting to hear back. Mary Smith, CBS 17 News.
Heavy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count.
So you all saw that video. And so, okay, he purchased a rope. Question also, when they found him sitting down at the tree with a rope around his neck, was it that blue rope? That's another thing. We don't even know if it was actual rope that he bought. Whoever intentions was to hang this young man, they probably had their own rope. That's the thing, Is there an open rope package? We saw it's got the little wraparound on it that keeps the rope package. Was that found somewhere in the truck where he opened it? What color was the rope? So, a lot of other questions and leaving stuff to be desired, a lot of stuff that's unanswered. And that video just came in. That was quick, we getting real updates. So I said, let me play that video too. So you all saw it. Walmart finally released the video. And we see him at the self-checkout, use his debit card, going about his business. So yeah, something's definitely not adding up here. I think it's a hate crime too, like the family is saying. It's just the way, just the way in which a black person is killed in that way, not even by a gunshot. I mean, it could be a hate crime with a gunshot too, but when you take the time to actually string a person up by a tree and let them choke as their feet are dangling, come on now. So yeah, this is ridiculous. And my prayers go out to the Magee family, his mom, his dad, everyone. You know, it's just sad all around. And this stuff just keeps happening to Black people in this country. You know, I don't get it. But I think we also make sure we have to understand the system of racism as well. Black people should, white people should, everything. We can't just throw it under the rug. Understand why it operates is definitely operating from a strength of power and control. Because if you break down the world, you got race, so that means we're trying to get to something. You got ism, and so now that means that makes it systematic. So now it's a race to the top for the wealth, to the resources, to have everything. But if we're doing it by race, it's one race is keeping another race from obtaining those things. That's what racism is as a system. And it's just actually a mindset that perpetuates that system that white supremacists have. And then from that, you get an issue like this with Javion, where he's found hanging from a tree. So, it definitely has to stop. I want to hear more on this story as they investigate it. Just think about it. If you're a Black person right now with no kids, or if you have kids, either way, what if that was your child? And now these parents have to bury their child, and that's something no parent ever wants to do. It's supposed to be the other round. You bury your mom and your dad, but when mom and dad have to bury son or daughter, that's just something they never get over. And for it to happen in this manner, a lynching, a hate crime, but we'll wait for the autopsy to come out. It's definitely not the end of this. I'll be keeping an eye on this story, and just definitely had to cover it. And all of this stuff going on in the election year. Sonya mass email Javion Magee. Sonya was 36 years old, and Javion 21. So yeah, it has to stop. You got to put an end to this system. I don't get it. It's sad. And who's next? Who's next? So Black people, we have to be careful where we travel to in these United States. It's supposed to be the land of the free. So again, my heart goes out to the Magee family. Prayers up to you all. I really hope justice is served, and so that family can get some type of peace. It's going to be very hard from here on out. Hopefully, we get the people who did it on trial and the guilty verdict. So we'll see what happens. If you know of any other stories of lynchings that you all have heard of, please put them in the comments. What are your thoughts on this? If you're following this story, I just wanted to put it out there just to bring some awareness. It's still going on in 2024. Please don't be surprised. Don't act surprised. Like, share, and subscribe. And I am out until the next one. Rest in peace, Javion Magee.